reach your destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, an accomplished motivational speaker who's energized speakers, team workers, leaders around the globe, is an author of a best-selling book called The Tick Tick Dollar, and I strongly encourage all our delegates, our foreign delegates, to pick a copy of that as well. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend and a brilliant motivational speaker, Qaiser Abbas.
Thank you. Friends, Assalamu Alaikum. And good morning. Good morning is not about any specific time of the day. Good morning is about waking up. Good morning is about showing the energy. And good morning is about embracing possibilities. And this is what this evening is all about. So I'm going to say good morning one more time. And all of you in a very rhythmic, energetic and powerful voice are going to repeat after me. You're going to say good morning. And the person with the most energetic voice is going to win my best-selling book, Tick Tick Dollar, worth $35. So who's going to win the book? If you want to win the book, say yes. Yes. All right. Can I have the copy of the book? There you go. So 3, 2, 1. Friends, good morning. There is some voice over here. I heard you. I did hear. Thank you so much. Round of applause. Round of applause. Big round of applause. I think we got to be a little generous in appreciating people. We've had an amazing list of speakers this evening, but we've been not very generous in appreciating. So please, big round of applause for all the speakers this evening. The topic of my presentation is dreams into reality. So how many of you have dreams? A lot of entrepreneurs, no dreams. So if you got a dream, say yes. Yes. All right. So how many of you are committed to turn their dreams into reality? One more time. Show of hands. All right. So I'm going to share with you in the next 20 minutes a secret formula of turning your dreams into reality. Are you ready? Yes. You got to make a fist. Just like these small kids. Can you see these kids? So I work with some of the top CEOs. I work with some of the youngest kids in schools. And I start my presentations exactly the same manner. So please make a fist. Hold it very tight. And I believe that all the energy, all the confidence, all the commitment, all the resources that you require to become successful and turn your dreams into reality, it's already here. It is already within you. So when I say, are you ready? You're going to hit this fist right here, but please on your own hand. And you're going to say, yes, I am ready. Right? And this time around, if you show me your energy, I'm going to give you one more book. And this time it's Leadership Insights. Are you ready? I'm not really impressed. Are you ready? Yes. All right. Can I have the copy of the book, please? It's here. And I love your energy as well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Round of applause. Big round of applause, please. Thank you. So how many of you think you got something special in you? You don't think something special exists in you? The serious audience this evening, don't you think something serious, something very special is in each one of you? All right, if you don't believe in it, let's have a small exercise. I want each one of you to please stand up and go to as many people as possible in this room and go to them, look into their eyes and say, you have something special. Then you go to the next person and say, you have something special. So 3, you have 30 seconds. Go to as many people as you possibly can and say, you have something special, because not many people in this room believe that they have something special. 3, 2, 1, go.
You have something.
You have something special.
I'm telling you.
Thank you, Alauddin.
You have something
Alauddin
special, Qaiser.
It's because of those 14 years of association that you are saying this. Thank you.
28.
Please say to as many people as you possibly can, you have something special.
Something special.
You have something. All right, round of applause for each one of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, if your dreams are high, very high, maybe as high as you possibly can imagine, but your beginnings are very, very low, I'll say congratulations. It's a great thing. If your dreams are high and your beginnings are low, it's a great thing. The bad thing would be if your beginnings are very high and your dreams are very, very low. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you a real story of somebody whose dreams were very high, but his beginnings were as low as you possibly can imagine. How many of you have seen people living in Pakistan below the poverty line? Raise your hand. Alright, so this boy was born in a family which lived in Pakistan way below the poverty line. He was the 8th child of his parents. And you can well imagine if one of the poorest families gets the 8th kid, how much delight would exist in the family. But his dreams were very high, yet his beginnings were as low as you possibly can imagine. The kid used to live in a rented house, and every other month the house needed to be shifted. And every time they would shift the house, the landlord would keep some of the luggage. You know why? Because the rent had not been paid. And the biggest challenge for the family was this: how do we ensure the next meal on the table? Yet his dreams were very high and his beginnings were very, very low. Ladies and gentlemen, this kid was only 6 when he was crying. And the kid was not crying at an ordinary place. He was crying near the dead body of his mother. And after many years, he got to know that the mother didn't die because of a disease which was not curable. The disease could have been cured. But the family did not have the resources, they didn't have the money, they didn't have the access to the right doctors. But his dreams were very high and beginnings were very, very low. Let me show you another real picture. This is one of his brothers. And because of the emotional challenges in the family, his brother turned into a drug addict. His own real brother turned into a drug addict. And in this very picture, you might have seen his brother wearing only a towel and he himself wearing an ordinary suit. For the many, many years, he did not have the luxury to wear a suit of his own size. So the fact is, some rich relatives of the family would used to drop their used clothes to their house. And this is what he used to wear. But his dreams were still very high and the beginnings were very, very low. This is not the picture of a school uniform. He studied in a school where there were no roofs, there were no walls, there were no chairs. And yet in front of the school, there used to be one English medium school called Jim Modern School. This is what the boy actually told me. And the kids over there used to wear this uniform. And he used to use the word inferior for his own self. But then he somehow managed to get one of those big shirts sent by the family members, cut it to his own size, convinced the tailor, and went to the uniform shop and eventually was able to use the same clothes. And used to go in front of those English medium school kids and tell them, yeah, I can also wear the same set of dress. Why? Because the dreams were very high and the beginnings were very, very low. And this is the picture. Can you guys please sit down for a minute? Thank you. Are you with me? Thank you very much. So when he was in the teenage, he was a perfect picture of a crushed self-confidence, low self-image, no self-esteem. Why? Because the kid used to compare himself with other boys in the school, college. And he used to think that his hairstyle is not as good as some of his friends. He didn't used to wear the same clothes. He didn't have the same access to the resources. So his self-esteem was so low that he couldn't go to anyone and say, Assalamu alaikum, my name is this. And yet his dreams were very high and beginnings were still, as you can see, very, very low. The next challenge was that the family didn't have the money to support his education. So along with the studies, he had to work. And he was lucky enough to get the first job in Pakistan Tobacco Company as the sales boy of a local distributor. Other than that, he was used to do what we call the wall chalking. In elections, in the hot, sunny days, he used to be on the roads and do the wall chalking for the local MNAs and local MPs. He also used to work as a construction laborer. And yet his dreams were very high and the beginnings were, as you can see, very, very low. And yet despite having all these challenges, the boy was able to win 2 gold medals, one in intermediate and the one in graduation. Round of applause for the boy. 2 gold medals. And then somehow he got to understand that the decisions shape life. Everybody around him told him that don't try to change your life because this is the only life that exists for you. But his father told him that it is not the conditions, these are the decisions which are going to shape the reality of your life. So he decided to leave his village and come to this beautiful city called Lahore. But despite having these 2 gold beautiful medals, he didn't get a job. He did not even get a job in this very hotel in the capacity of a waiter. Can you believe? Having 2 gold medals, didn't get a job as a waiter. So eventually he had to work what we call the canteen of a junk newspaper. He used to work at the canteen, he used to serve, he used to make tea for people. And yet his dreams were very high. But beginnings were still very, very low. And then, as part of his dreams, he entered into Punjab University and he took admission in MSc. But some more challenges were actually waiting for him. And one of the challenges was that he lost his best friend in this world. And his best friend was his father. And when his father passed away, his entire motivation to create some success for himself and turn his dreams into reality just vanished. He leaves everything and goes back to his village. But then his family and friends, everybody motivated him to come back and restart his struggle to make his dreams a reality. He comes back, completes his education, and now the family is waiting for him to become an officer and turn their life around as well. But what happens is, this young boy goes to over 200 organizations, applies for various jobs. He didn't have a place to live in Lahore. Every single evening he had to make a decision. Have you ever, by the way, had to make this very important decision where to go and sleep tonight? Have you ever? Just imagine for a moment, you leave this beautiful evening and you leave this hotel, then you got to make this decision where to go and sleep tonight. But this boy had to every single day make this very important decision where to go, where to sleep, where to spend your night. He failed in over 200 interviews. He failed twice in Punjab University for the position of lectureship. He failed twice in Public Service Commission. He failed twice with Pakistan Air Force. And apparently all the doors were locked. There was absolutely no sense of hope. And on a serious note, the boy told me he was thinking to commit suicide. Why? Because the family over there in the village was waiting for the boy to turn their lives around. But he was not willing to give up. Ladies and gentlemen, he was not willing to give up. So he makes one more effort, and this time around, he goes back to Public Service Commission for another try. And in this attempt, he actually takes first position in Pakistan Public Service Commission. The first position. A round of applause, man. And he gets a 17th grade job, one of the finest jobs in Pakistan. And the family thinks the life is going to change. But as this evening is all about pursuing your dreams, following your dreams. So he decided to follow his dreams as well. He wanted to be an entrepreneur, just like many of you. He decided to be an entrepreneur, start his own company, start his own business. So cutting a long story short, in order to be an entrepreneur, you will agree with me, you need some resources. Yes or no? Please, yes or no? Yes. So did this boy have any resources? Absolutely no. You need money. Most of the time, only this evening I was being interviewed by a TV channel. They were asking, it is very important for you to have money before you turn your life around. I was telling them, money is not very important. So this boy, he had absolutely no money with him. The biggest challenge for him used to be what to eat, how to move from one place to the other, where to spend night, etc., etc. In order to start your business, many youngsters sitting over here, you believe that you need to have some connections, some resources, some contacts. And he had absolutely no contacts. And the fourth important thing is, in order for you to start your own company, you need to have some exposure. So no organization has ever had allowed him to enter into the organization. So how come could he develop some exposure? What corporate world is all about? So he was absolutely zero in terms of his exposure to the organizations and to the corporate world. Another thing that you need is, the whole world is against you, but this time around at least your family should be with you. Yes or no? So this boy's family was not with him. And many of the family members believed that the boy is wasting his life. He is wasting his talent. In order for you to run the business, do you agree with me? You need to have at least some kind of a transport. Yes or no? So he did not even have a bicycle to move around in this very city called Lahore. And many a times you want to start business, Sidra, because there are some clients who are after you and they are pursuing you and they say, please start your business and we'll become your very first clients. But this boy did not have any clients pursuing him. And last but not the least, do you need an office? Yes or no? And he did not have an office. But someday, he decided to make his first office. And this is his very first office. Now I can understand. You're looking at me and saying, Qaiser, this is not an office. It's McDonald's. And because of his village background, he believed that if you don't have the money, probably McDonald's people will not allow you to enter into the premises. But one of his friends, on a very hot day, he took him to McDonald's. And he says, come on, we don't have money. He says, no problem. Even if you don't have the money, you can go sit in the air-conditioned environment. You don't have to eat anything. You don't have to buy anything. So for the next 2 to 3 hours, they both were sitting at McDonald's DHA branch. And it was such a experience for him that they didn't buy anything, but they were still able to sit at McDonald's. His friend went away, but for the next many days, every single day, he used to come to McDonald's, sit over there and do nothing. If a client would come and say, sir, we want to meet you, and where's your office? And he would smile and say, why to meet at the office? Why don't you just come to McDonald's? We'll sit there and we'll have a discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next 2.5 years, I repeat, for the next 2.5 years, this boy had McDonald's as his office. And there came a time when McDonald's people came to him and say, you don't buy anything. And you just sit here, and in the busiest hours, you occupy one table. Who the hell you are? Why don't you leave this place? And then he got to convince them how important he could be for them. How can he help McDonald's turn their business around? And when clients would come, he would say, sir, McDonald's is famous for 2 things. One is the ice cream, and the other is the cup of tea. And you all know McDonald's is not famous for tea or ice cream. You agree with me? McDonald's is famous for what? The burgers. But he was not able to afford burger for the clients. So what would he do is he would come back with 1 cup of tea. And the client would say, aren't you having for yourself? And he would say, oh, I just had one. For the next 2.5 years, ladies and gentlemen, every single day he showed up at McDonald's Every single day he managed to meet his clients, but not even once, he was able to taste the burger of McDonald's. And you all understand McDonald's is not a place where you can accomplish some creative work. Yes or no? It's a very noisy place. It's a much distracted place. I'm just going to finish in the next 2 minutes. I need your attention, please. McDonald's is not a place where you can do some creative work. Yes or no? So it's one of the noisiest places. But at that very place, this boy sat and developed the mission of his life. He discovered who he really was. Ladies and gentlemen, he wrote 764 dreams that he wanted to accomplish. And one of the dreams was to be able to wear a suit of his own size. One of the dreams was to have a business card. One of the dreams was to have a mobile phone. One of the dreams was to fly in an aeroplane. One of the dreams was to have a beautiful house. One of the dreams was to marry somebody. One of the dreams was to have beautiful kids. One of the dreams was to live a beautiful life. And at a place which is most distracted and extremely noisy, at that very place, he wrote his business plans. He developed proposals for his clients. He developed framework for his clients. He dreamt about a life that he really wanted to live. And you will be surprised to know that at the very place he was able to write his first best-selling book called Tick, Tick, Dollar. And probably by now you've been able to figure out, why do I know so much about the kid? And the reason is that the kid is no one else. It's me, Qaiser Abbas. And my dreams are still very high, and I consider my beginnings as still very, very low. And just to share with you, I'm not sharing this with you to impress you, but to inspire you, because on my business card, I don't write my title as Chief Executive Officer of my company called Possibilities. I write myself as Chief Inspiring Officer, because this is what I think God gave me in terms of a gift. And my company over the last 11 years, I've been able to reach out to over 300 clients in 12 countries. I work with the CEOs, I work with some of the top organizations, and my company has been able to impact the lives of actually thousands of people in 12 countries. And this is precisely the vision board that I developed for myself some 14 years back. And God has been very, very kind. Most of my dreams turned into reality. Thank you. I've had a dream. One of the dreams was to be able to send one kid to the schools where I couldn't actually go myself. And today, we have a small initiative called Possibilities Foundation, where we send hundreds of the kids all over the country to the best possible schools in their own towns. And we support their education, their school bags, their uniforms, even their transport. Because I remember the times when people used to drive their bicycles, driving their cars, driving their motorcycles, and used to walk up to the school. Today we also run approximately 70 free schools for underprivileged children all over the country. And we also, by the way, these are some of the books that I wrote, but again, I'm not sharing these books to impress you. I'm sharing the beautiful fact with you, again, not to impress you. The entire 100% income that I get as an author from these books, it goes to support the education of underprivileged, deserving kids across Pakistan. We also started one tiny initiative, and many of the friends who are sitting in this very room, they've been tremendous support to all of us. This initiative is called My First Bike. And this is the 5th year we reach out to underprivileged kids, again all over Pakistan. And we provide them their life's first bicycle as a gift. And so far we've been able to reach out to hundreds of kids and helping them turn their dreams into reality. And in the last, I'd like to share with you, there are 3 principles, the recipe that changed my life. The first one is purpose. And to me, purpose is not getting, it's different from a goal. Goal is about getting something for yourself, whereas purpose is giving. And I did not start giving, this probably will be my last word, I didn't start giving because I became successful. I repeat, I did not start giving because I became successful. I became successful because I started giving. And when I wrote my first book, the entire income used to go to Sahara for Life Trust. And that was a time probably I needed that money the most, but God has been very kind. I had the courage to give. That's the first principle. The second one is passion. Can you repeat after me? It's not passion, it's passion. So if you have a purpose of life which is giving, and you feel absolutely passionate about it, and then comes the third word, performance. Again, 3 P's. Purpose, passion, performance. And my summation to this audience is, if I can start from the lowest level possible and be able to turn my dreams into reality by using this principle, purpose, passion, performance. My challenge is sibling to each one of you is, if you follow your dreams, and if you follow the same philosophy, purpose, passion, and performance, where can you reach? Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Thank you. Thank you, sir.